Hello, everyone, and welcome to the February 25th edition of Star Wars Headlines. I'm Rebekah Mosley, co-founder of LaughingPlace.com, and with me, as always, is Mike Celestino, the editorial director here at LaughingPlace.com for our Star Wars content. Hey, Mike.
Hello. Good afternoon.
How you doing? Oh, I see Greedo has joined us.
Yeah, I'm trying to do a different action figure here every week, and this week it's Greedo. He was one of the very first released in the Black Series ever,
Oh, wow.
which was a weird choice, but I thought they did such a great job on the toy.
I like the pose is nice. I like it.
Yeah.
It's good. Although I keep feeling like he's about to shoot over my head, which is a little intimidating. But, hey, it's all good. So there's been a lot happening in the world. Well, not as much as there has been, but there's plenty happening in the world of Star Wars. And we're going to start off by talking about we have a date for Bad Batch.
Yeah, so this is the upcoming spin-off of the Clone Wars that's getting, and this team called Clone Force 99. They're getting their own series on Disney Plus, animated series. It's starting May the 4th, Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you.
That makes sense. Is this okay? This is animated, correct? It's going to be animated. Okay, because
Yes.
is there another series that was going to be animated and is now going to be live action, or am I totally making up stories in my own head?
I'm not sure.
Okay, no, it's one of those things where I felt like there was this title that people were expecting to be animated and then didn't. But it could be any number of other.
Yeah, there are
franchises.
so many Star
Right?
Wars projects coming, so I'm not sure. But they did announce that we'll get the first episode of May the 4th, and then that same week on Friday. So May the 4th is a Tuesday, and then on Friday we'll get episode 2, kind of like the way they did it with the Mandalorian when it first started, because Disney Plus, I think, launched on a Wednesday or something, and then a couple days later we got episode 2 of that.
Oh, that's cool. That'll be exciting to kind of build some momentum, especially because I don't think that this is the most familiar to a wide swath of Star Wars fans.
Right. And it's animated, so I don't think it's going to have the same like cultural impact that The Mandalorian does, but people will still be into it. I think we can say here that we're planning to do a weekly recap show on YouTube for Laughing Place, recapping the Bad Batch every week like we did with Mandalorian Season 2. So
cool.
Stay tuned for that.
That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
On Mondays.
I'm looking forward to Bad Batch. I kind of like I don't know, what do you call them, camaraderie, that genre of like the band of brothers type of scenario. So
yeah,
I'm excited for it.
Exactly. I think kind of a Hogan's Heroes, Band of Brothers type series in Star Wars is exciting. And also the reason I'm looking forward to it is because that era after the prequels, after episode 3, hasn't been explored a lot. They did a little bit in the comics with the Darth Vader comic books, but other than that period right after episode 3, right after the Empire comes to power, we haven't seen that a lot in Star Wars in the current canon. So I will be interested to see how they handle that, especially, considering these characters, the clones, the main characters of the Bad Batch. This is after Order 66, so we're going to see how the Bad Batch was affected by Order 66, if they managed to avoid that programming, if they killed any Jedi, or how exactly. I'm sure that's how the first episode is going to open.
Right.
C. Bacon said they're going to watch every Bad Batch at 5 a.m. Wow, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sleep until 7 and watch at 7 a.m.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So yeah, a lot of interest, like you say. It'll be insight into kind of the universe under the Empire, which we haven't had an opportunity to see kind of how that transitionary period there. And then you offered a review of the completion of the Alphabet Squadron trilogy. Yeah,
so this book comes out on this coming Tuesday, but I was given an advance copy, a digital copy that I read, and I really like this trilogy. It's very like action heavy, especially this final book. It's like 2/3 of this book is space battles. So if you're into space battles and the pilots of Star Wars, this is the series for you, and this is the third and final book in this trilogy. So it kind of wraps up the story of this fighter squadron that's made up of an A wing, a B wing, an X wing, a Y wing, and a U wing, which is why they call them Alphabet Squadron. And they're going up against this ex-Imperial, or they are like Imperial remnant fighter wing called Shadow Wing, the 204th Regiment of the Imperial Navy. And their Shadow Wing is off continuing this thing called Operation Cinder, which was Emperor Palpatine's plan to like basically take out any Imperial faction that didn't live up to his expectations. Even after his death, he's still taking out people who displeased him in the Empire, and Alphabet Squadron is out to prevent that. So it's good stuff. Recommended.
And then sorry, my computer was giving me challenges. You also this week shared with us a discussion of behind the scenes Mandalorian that happened with the AFI.
Oh, I loved this. This is okay. So AFI honored The Mandalorian season 2 as one of its, I think, 10 best TV series of 2020, and as part of this program, Pedro Pascal came out on YouTube and introduced The Mandalorian, or talked about how he loved being involved with the show so far. And then Jon Favreau did like a 5-minute breakdown of one scene from season 2, which was the Krayt Dragon attack from season 2, episode 1, the Marshal. And I thought it was just fascinating. That 5 minutes was fantastic. He answered a few questions that I had about that scene in particular, and it made me really wish that Jon Favreau would do an audio commentary for the entire series. Now, that happened to be the episode that he directed, The Marshal. He didn't direct any other episodes in the series, but he was the series creator and the showrunner. So I think his insight would be invaluable to, new filmmakers, upcoming filmmakers, wannabe filmmakers, and anybody who's just interested in Star Wars and how Star Wars is made nowadays, especially with the technological advancements that they're still pioneering for The Mandalorian. If you've seen the Disney Gallery behind the scenes documentary series, that gives you some idea of how they did it as well. But I would just love to hear him talk about every episode and how he came up with it, because he's the writer for a lot of this stuff. I would love to hear how he came up with the ideas, how he wrote each episode, and then how it was executed, both in production and post-production.
I learned a lot from it because I haven't studied filmmaking as you have, and to hear him talk through the decision to change the ratio, and then to hear him just discuss some of the choices that were made, and kind of from the creative side why he made them. I really appreciated that insight, because there's so many levels to the storytelling that he uses. It's like, he's like an artist with, all sorts of brushes in front of him, and I really appreciated hearing it. And it was funny to me because he talked about how with this one they didn't use the volume; they shot outside, and then they pieced in other with green screen. So it's outside with green screen. And it was funny because I remember when we were talking about this episode, you said it was one of the few times where you felt like you could kind of see where the real met the digital when we talked about it. And so I thought it was interesting because because this one wasn't in the volume, so you don't have that same control over lighting. Yeah. And it made me wonder if maybe that's why it had caught your eye in a way that other sequences hadn't.
It could be, yeah. And he talks about how the one environment that they still haven't been able to figure out how to do in the volume is like harsh sunlight. Mm-hmm. So whenever they have a scene that takes place in harsh sunlight, they have to physically go outside. This was shot in Southern California, he said. The thing you said about the aspect ratio changing, I remember bringing that up when we did our recap of that episode when it first aired. And when I first watched that episode, I had to go back. I think I went back like 2 or 3 times to find where the aspect ratio changed, because I noticed it filling the screen, and I remember it. You know, it's usually in the 2:3:5 to 1 aspect ratio before that, but I missed the transition. I kept missing it, and he hit it so well. And he talked about how, you know, choosing to put it exactly where he put it in that commentary, and then the shot right after it is a reference to Jaws, the dolly zoom effect where I think you're pushing in with the camera and then also zooming out, or the other way around, to give that weird effect. You see Roy Scheider in that famous shot from Jaws, which, you know, Jaws is my favorite movie ever made. I'm intimately familiar with the movie and that shot, but I don't know if I made the connection in the Mandalorian episode before, even though my brain recognized it.
Right.
I didn't go there in my head because that shot's been used so many times since then. Like, people have stolen. I mean, you know, Hitchcock used that effect as well in Vertigo and things like that. But which is
where I haven't seen Jaws. So for me, whenever I see that used, I always go to Vertigo.
Right.
Still. But no, I like I say, amazing. And then Doobie asks, where can people watch this? And that would be the AFI Awards YouTube channel.
Well, they should go to laughingplace.com and just type in Jon Favreau or AFI
Awards,
and it'll be one of the first
results
right
there. You're right. Like, that's the best way to find it. Yes, obviously, go to Laughing Place and type in AFI Awards.
But yeah, this just made me want more of that exact thing, of just Jon Favreau watching The Mandalorian and explaining how they made it. That would be great.
And then when he was talking about what it meant to him, thinking back on his experience of Star Wars and the watching it with his dad. And then now hearing stories of people gathered on the couch together as a family watching Mandalorian, that also really struck me. And I like I say, in the AFI Award, the AFI video, YouTube, Jon Favreau, it's definitely worth the watch. I do think that C. Bacon's remark that he thought it was a picture of a Pedro Pascal Black Series figure with a chair accessory is quite funny.
That would be something if they started making Black Series figures of just the actors,
right?
in directors' chairs, yeah.
And here he is having an interview. Yes. Speaking of Black Series figures, we have some new arrivals on the way, or here
yes,
already?
On the way. So these were just announced yesterday. And we're getting, so I think they're making all the Bad Batch now because that series is coming out. And this is another one that they've just announced. His name is Wrecker, just a member of the Bad Batch of clone troopers. So he's getting a 6-inch Black Series action figure. And then the other thing they announced was just a First Order Stormtrooper helmet from the sequel trilogy.
Is that on down? There it is.
If you scroll all the way down, there's more pics.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
I think. Yeah.
There it is. So, yeah.
And I think this is electronic, and it makes some cool sound effects and stuff like that. So, I like that picture from the back. Like, if you just showed that to someone, it would just look like an egg or something.
Very true. Yes.
Like, what is that?
What is this? Almost a bell, right? Like a bell shape. And coming to your Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5 is Republic Commando. Yeah,
this is a video game that was released in 2005, as Rebekah was nice enough to look up before the show. And I've actually never played it. I remember when it came out, and I was not as into Star Wars at that point, because it was right after the prequels had come out, and I kind of had been distanced a bit from the franchise. But I haven't played Republic Commando, but I think it's a popular game, and now it's getting re-released in I think a remastered version for the Switch and PS5. You said?
I think so. I think that's what the article said. I will scroll down to be sure. This says PS4.
PS4. Okay.
And then one of the other notes that our team highlighted is that the Delta Squad leader voice Bossk is the same actor who portrays Boba Fett in The Mandalorian, and obviously Jango Fett in the Attack of the Clones. So there's a connection there to the continuing story, and
it makes sense because um, Boba Fett is the source of the material they use, the DNA they use to clone all the clone troopers. So they're all played by Tamura Morrison in Revenge of the Sith, and then D. Bradley Baker is the voice in the cartoons. But Tamura Morrison, I guess, returned to voice the character for the video game, and now he's back playing Boba Fett in The Mandalorian too.
And from the Herschel collection, these are backpacks and other like I call it what carry gear. They've announced a line connected to Star Wars. They have some that are celebrating the stormtroopers. They have Darth Vader and they have Boba Fett. These are all connected to Empire Strikes Back villain, for lack of a better word. I would say that's what they would be called. The I'll scroll down to share a little bit of it if my computer lets me. The inside they have different phrases from the so yeah, my computer is gonna get mad at me for that one. Okay.
That's okay.
Here, let me scroll down a little bit so I can show you guys some of the details on this. But you've got the settlement case for the stormtrooper set that's meant to look reminiscent to a thermal detonator. And then they've got things that appear to be like the chest plate of the stormtrooper. On the inside, you have labels that say things like join the dark side. I think with Darth Vader, it says, I am your father. The Boba Fett has an internal label that says, as you wish. Is that his phrase? I was unfamiliar with that as a phrase.
it's a line that he says in Empire Strikes Back, but I don't know if it's a catchphrase or anything.
Okay. And they say that this helmet is reminiscent of. They say that these items are reminiscent of Boba Fett's helmet. If you were walking down the street, Mike, and you saw these, would you go, "Hey, that reminds me of Boba Fett's helmet"?
I don't see the Boba Fett one. I get the Stormtrooper one, and what's the Darth Vader one look like?
Let me scroll to Darth Vader. Hang on, it'll come. It'll just take a moment because my computer wants to glitch out when I pass it.
Okay.
See, it's the dark side coming.
Yeah, it's just black, right?
Right? Yeah.
I don't know if I see it. I definitely see the Stormtrooper one because it has some of the, I don't know, the design from the armor is in there. So I would notice that and I would pick that out as a Stormtrooper. This just looks like black to me.
And then there's a rain cover that they describe as inspired by Darth Vader's cape.
Well, I see you got the Imperial insignia there on the rain cover, so that I would notice, but
yeah,
otherwise I'm not seeing it.
It's extremely subtle, right? On these items, extremely subtle.
And
but
then
you would know.
The Boba Fett one, it just looks like camouflage to me. So
there is some that feature a little bit of Arabesh on it, so that also would help kind of bring out that Star Wars element to it. But overall, these are far more subtle than I'm used to seeing when it comes to items connected to Disney. I'm sorry, to Star Wars. I said that because we're heading over to Downtown Disney.
Right.
Which is where the trading post has opened to all. You've talked a lot about it, Mike, but maybe I was going to say, let people know about how to access the store, the shop.
Well, it depends on, I guess, the crowd level when you go, but basically you'll get there, and if you get there right as Downtown Disney is opening, you'll probably just be able to get in a standby line and go into the store. But if you come a little bit later and they've reached capacity, they start doing this virtual queue system where you walk up to this sign, you scan that QR code with your phone, you put in your mobile number, and then you get a text later on when it's time for you to come back and get in line, and then you'll wait in that standby line again and go into the shop. I've been in there twice now. I've spent probably cumulative a couple hours in there, so I do really like it. I like what they did. I like the atmosphere of it, and it's got quite a bit more merch available than they had in the previous Star Wars trading post. So they've now brought in some more stuff that was for sale in Galaxy's Edge and a few other places to have available in downtown Disney.
I'll be interested to see if they use it as a bit of a focal point for events, not like events that are going to be y'all come kind of thing, but just a bit more like product release or that type of thing. As we continue to not have the theme park itself open. As an example, May the 4th is not terribly far away, and
Right.
I wouldn't I would be surprised if there wasn't some frivolity at play here.
Yeah, I hope so. At the very least, maybe like a pin release or something like they've done in the past.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I also want to say, like, if you want to see more of the Star Wars Trading Post, I shot I think it's like a 26-minute video just going through the whole, like a video tour of the whole interior of the Trading Post that's available on the Laughing Place YouTube channel.
Yes, and he also did a few write-ups as well. But if you check right here on this very channel, you can find Mike's detailed video look at it, including a couple of including an homage to Mandalorian that you can a little Easter egg there that you might notice when you're in the shop. And when you're at downtown Disney, if you stop by the Lego store, you can see your favorite Wookiee, all made out of Legos. So
Yes.
there's that going on as well. So lots happening.
I'm told this was a Chewbacca from Legoland,
Oh yeah,
San Diego, that they've brought up now and put in downtown Disney.
I'm only hesitant to say that's the case because I'm pretty sure that's what just happened in Florida, because they the mini land portion of Star Wars. I think that one ended up at the down. I know Chewbacca has appeared at downtown Disney, Florida, and I thought that was the case there. So, or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe the rumor from the West Coast has made its way to the East Coast, or maybe it happened on both coasts. So yeah, but you can find Chewbacca now at downtown Disney East and West, downtown Disney and Disney Springs. He's in both spots now. So, and let me
Cool.
close this window. Um, Finally, here at Star Wars Headlines, we're going to highlight Mike C's podcast topic.
Yeah, so we're doing a year-long 50th anniversary retrospective of everything Lucasfilm was involved with from its founding in 1971 all the way through the Disney acquisition in 2012. And this week's episode is about Akira Kurosawa, Japanese filmmaker who was an idol of George Lucas's, a filmmaking idol. And in 1980, Kurosawa wanted to make a film called Kagemusha, and he couldn't get the funding. The Toho film studio didn't want to pay the full amount that he needed to make the film. So George Lucas on the right there and Francis Ford Coppola, who was in the middle of that photo, stepped in and convinced, I think it was Fox. Now I'm blanking on which studio it was. I think it was either Warner or Fox, stepped in and gave him $5 million more to make Kagemusha, and then Lucas and Coppola were both credited as executive producers on that film. So I wanted to include it in my Lucasfilm retrospective. So we watched the film. I had never seen it before, and I talked with my friend David Murto, who's a big Kurosawa fan, about it. And you can go and listen to the episode. It's available now on Who's the Bossk podcast.
And if you've missed any of Mike's episodes, they're all over at Laughing Place. You can find them there, and then of course at any streaming platform.
Spotify, iTunes, and this was the 50th episode as well. So we tried to come up with a way to celebrate that, and David had some fun Star Wars jokes that he contributed to the episode.
Oh,
so.
very nice. Awesome. Well, today at Laughing Place, this evening, we're going to have a Grownish recap popping up on the website. And this morning, we jumped into the Clubhouse fun with some Disney news talk. So be sure to keep an eye over here on Laughing Place, because we're always trying out new things and bringing you Disney news and content in different ways. So that's what we've been doing here. Yesterday, Becca and I highlighted Disney merchandise with the Barely Necessities, and Mike will be back soon, right? Are you? I know we always have Mondays with Disney News Talk, but I wasn't sure if you have an on-site wandering and chit-chatting with Doobie ahead or not.
Well, next, I'll say a week from tomorrow, I'll be at Knott's Berry Farm for the
Oh,
Boysenberry Festival, Taste of Boysenberry Festival, which is, the Boysenberry Festival didn't happen at all last year. It got canceled because that was right when the pandemic hit and everything shut down. I remember you
that
went to
was
the preview event
yeah. I
for
was gonna
that.
say that was like the last kind of public thing that I went to. I was down there. I was down there for that event and came home and pretty much went into isolation.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is happening this year in a limited capacity sort of way, and they're calling it a Taste of Boysenberry Festival. And I'm super excited to go to this. I haven't been to Knott's since I think like late November when the Christmas thing would have started, the Taste of Mary Farm. So yeah, I'm super psyched to get back out there.
I'm kind of hopeful that once we return to a more normal trend regarding these types of events, that maybe the taste of will go away for just a little while.
I know. And then Disney decided to step away from that and call it a touch of Disney, which I
Yeah.
can never remember to say. And I keep typing it and saying it and calling it a taste of Disney, but it's not. It's going to be a touch of Disney.
So, so thanks again for joining us here with Star Wars Headlines. Don't forget to like and subscribe. When you subscribe, then you get notified whenever Laughing Place goes live or posts new content. Sometimes it might be a premiere of a new video, such as our Disney news recaps that Mike creates for us with Becca Burbank. And if you enjoy this, like the stream, and then other people will come across it and find it. You help us out there too. So until next time, I guess that's it for us here at laughingplace.com. Bye for now.